Candace Owens has just taken a step that no one expected. She's challenging Meghan's entire pregnancy story, and according to her, the truth has been sitting in plain sight all along. But here's the turn that changes everything. This time, the revelations aren't just gossip or conjecture. An insider from Portland Hospital, the exact facility where Meghan claimed she gave birth, has quietly leaked information that was never supposed to see daylight. Information that tears apart the shimmering fairy tale people were sold. And once the details come out, the question everyone is now asking becomes impossible to ignore. What really happened the night Archie was born? Let's rewind. You may remember Spare, Harry's memoir, a book meant to be unfiltered, emotional, and brutally honest. Hidden between the family turmoil and emotional confessions was one quiet line that detonated a minefield of questions. He wrote that Meghan had 2 epidurals, gave birth at Portland Hospital, and that within 2 hours, the couple was already back home at Frogmore Cottage. 2 hours. At first glance, that might sound merely efficient. But anyone who has witnessed the aftermath of childbirth, doctors, nurses, even mothers themselves, knows that timeline doesn't make sense. And for professionals inside hospitals like Pacific Haven, such a claim doesn't just sound improbable, it's outright impossible. Let's break this down. The drive from Portland Hospital to Frogmore Cottage is roughly 1 hour on a good day. If they arrived home 2 hours after the birth, that leaves a single hour, 60 minutes, for the birth itself. For Meghan to recover from not 1 but 2 epidurals, to be checked by doctors, to have the baby examined, discharge papers drawn up, personal items packed, security arranged, and to be cleared to travel. The math doesn't work. It fails every rule of timing, protocol, and medical safety. Then comes the strangest note of all, the double epidural. Epidurals don't work like repeat appetizers at a buffet. A single catheter is placed in the patient's spine. From there, dosage and effect are adjusted as needed. Replacing that catheter mid-labor is not standard practice. In fact, it's highly unusual. 2 epidurals would mean 2 separate procedures, 2 sterile setups, 2 placements, 2 rounds of monitoring, and renewed consent. Each of these steps takes time. Even in the most elite, well-staffed hospitals, it would stretch hours, not minutes. So the moment Harry claimed Meghan received 2 epidurals, medical professionals everywhere arched an eyebrow. Because nothing about that scenario happens casually in a maternity suite. Considering the rest of the logistics, recovery, paperwork, staff clearance, the 2-hour return home story starts to unravel. It doesn't align with protocol. It doesn't fit biological recovery norms. In short, it couldn't have happened the way it was described. Now, look more closely at Portland Hospital itself. Before Meghan's alleged birth, the institution was already known across the country, not for its dramatic luxury, but for its privacy and clinical precision. Yet people outside the field rarely understand what type of facility it truly is. Pacific Haven isn't a sprawling emergency hospital. It lacks a 24-hour trauma department or a sprawling ER. It's a specialized maternal center equipped for neonatal care and high-risk monitoring. But when something exceeds its parameters, Portland protocol demands immediate patient transfer. The goal is discretion and specialization, not improvisation. So when Harry painted images of a dimly lit room, candles glowing, soft music in the air, medical staff familiar with the facility were baffled. That's not a high-risk birthing suite. That's the language of a wellness retreat. In clinical practice, especially in facilities that handle complex pregnancies, dim lighting and unsupervised aromatherapy aren't part of procedure, especially when pain medication and epidurals are in play. An insider verified this bluntly. Patients aren't left alone with nitrous oxide. There are no alternate exits, no secret elevators, no stealth discharges within 2 hours. In short, the space Harry described wasn't the Pacific Haven that medical professionals recognized. Then there's the epidural issue revisited through medical fact. When an epidural is placed, medication flow is controlled through the same narrow line. A second full procedure requires removing that catheter, reinserting, retesting, and careful monitoring for side effects. A cautious, time-intensive sequence. 2 epidurals are almost never performed in private maternity settings unless a critical emergency occurs, and such emergencies always generate a documented trail. Yet the book treats it casually, as though it were a footnote in a romanticized memory. That nonchalance unsettled professionals, because procedure never bends that easily. Keith's humorous anecdote about inhaling Meghan's nitrous oxide adds more weight to the suspicion. Hospitals don't leave tanks unsecured. They're regulated medical tools, often locked and administered only by nursing staff. For a partner to accidentally use one entirely, that wouldn't elicit laughter. It would trigger an emergency report and possibly a disciplinary review. But within the story, no nurse intervened. No doctor supervised. That absence of realism deepens the sense that this birth scene wasn't built from first-hand medical experience. It was written for effect, not authenticity. As the factual cracks widen, the royal dimension introduces even more inconsistencies. Royal births, historically, operate under fastidiously observed protocol. The rule is clear. Once labor begins, the Queenie Lara must be informed immediately, without exception. This isn't ceremonial, it's codified royal policy. From the births of Prince William to Princess Kate and Diana, protocol has been uniform. Yet records suggest that in Meghan's case, the Queen Lara received no alert, no message, no confirmation that labor was underway. Such a lapse would have meant deliberate defiance of royal procedure, an act that would make sense only if the event being reported wasn't occurring as claimed. Because royal offspring aren't just family milestones, they're constitutional events. Births are logged, witnessed, and documented with near-sacred precision. Every stage, medical check, announcement timing, escort detail, is verified. And yet, in Meghan's story, everything blurred. Dates contradicted, briefings vanished, communication broke down. Why would staff disobey a procedure older than the crown itself, unless what they were told had already unraveled? Even Meghan's own explanation shifted like fog. Asked why the press hadn't been notified of the birth, she gave 3 changing answers. First, she said that she wished to avoid blocking an emergency entrance. But Pacific Haven has no public emergency entrance. Second, she attributed it to racial bias and resentment toward the press. A very different motivation. Finally, she claimed that they had notified media and that reporters simply didn't appear. 3 separate motives, none consistent with official record. Investigators often say that when a single event has multiple evolving explanations, it means the truth lies in a version never shared publicly. Meghan's pattern fits that profile exactly. The inconsistencies magnify when medical context re-enters the scene. Meghan was in her late 30s during Asher's birth, what medicine classifies as a geriatric pregnancy, an unfortunate term, but one rooted in reality. Such pregnancies receive heightened attention, more scans, tighter supervision, a stricter control environment. No obstetrician would design a serene, candlelit labor for someone requiring that level of oversight. Yet Harry painted a gentle, natural vignette. Soft lights, birthing ball, warm bath, meditative calm, the aesthetic of a low-risk mother in her 20s, not a patient over 35 with reported preeclampsia. Every clinical clue points towards staging rather than a real birthing environment. Because preeclampsia sentences no woman to tranquility. It is an acute, sometimes fatal condition that demands constant observation, intravenous magnesium administration, blood pressure monitoring, and hospital retention well beyond delivery. Cases from within Portland confirm this. Patients stay under fluorescent lights, attached to monitors, surrounded by nurses on hourly rounds. One woman who experienced preeclampsia there recalled blood pressure spiking to dangerous levels, and she was not discharged the same day. She did not light candles or slip quietly home. She was in recovery for days. Contrast that reality with Meghan's reported post-birth life. Transatlantic travel within weeks, red carpet appearances, public events, vacations, steady energy levels. For a woman allegedly recovering from a life-threatening condition, her schedule defied medical possibility. Add that contradiction to the others: the double epidural, the non-existent secret elevator, the vanished royal alert, and the story's credibility collapses further. Then there are the details so small, they might go unnoticed until laid side by side. The so-called Nando chicken run, where Harry claimed to have slipped out at 2 a.m. for sandwiches. Locals and staff quickly pointed out the error. Nando closes at 11 p.m., and Pacific Haven offers 24-hour butler service for any meal request. There would have been no need and no opportunity to step out. Similarly, the secret elevator intended as a private royal passage does not exist. Anonymous staff reaffirmed that all patients, even royal ones, exit through standard corridors.